so he's not like straining his neck from one end to the other. It's encouraging. But of course, he's not preaching tonight. He's going to make you laugh. How many of you remember Brother Brandon from children's camp? Anybody? All right. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for this evening. Thank you for your love. Thank you for the ability to laugh. Your word says laughter does good like medicine. And God, I see a lot of people need a lot of medicine. So give us some good medicine tonight and guide us, we pray. Be glorified, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. All right. Hey, can y'all give it up for your pastor, please? Thank you. All right, look, here's how tonight needs to go. By the way, y'all did come together. This is crazy. All right. Look, I need y'all to laugh, whether it's funny or not. Okay, I need encouragement. I don't know what I'm going through. Okay. That's too much. You overdid that. All right, I felt forced. But y'all don't know what I'm struggling with, man. I've got a wife and 3 kids back home. Okay, I need help. I need laughter. I need encouragement. No, my name's Brandon. I've met just about everybody in here, I think. And of course I talked to y'all this morning. But I'm gonna open up with a story that I've shared with some of y'all, and I've shared this with some of y'all at camp as well. But I'm going to kick off in just a minute with a story that might be familiar to some of you. But I've been traveling full-time for the last 15 years, and before I started doing this, I was a middle school minister. I worked at my church. I worked with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and we had about 50 or so that I would take to camp and take out of town on mission trips and so forth. And I was there for 5 years, and then before that, we did other ministry. And so during that time at the church, I had some rules, all right? Any teachers in here? Okay, y'all kind of sitting? Okay, wow. Okay, that group's together, this group's together, all right? All right, so, man, well, you teachers know this. You have to have some rules, okay? There has to be some in place. They don't have to be a whole lot, but you got to have some in order to have some structure and some order. And so when I would take these kids places, some of the rules that I had was they were pretty simple. But number one is that anywhere we stopped, we had to leave that place nicer than we found it. And so, for example, we were heading through Monroe, and we stopped at a Cane's, I believe it was, Raising Cane's Chicken. And we get out, and I don't know if any of you have ever worked fast food, but if you see 50-plus middle schoolers showing up, you're quitting your job, right? It's not worth it. It really isn't. And so, man, we get out, and we go inside, and the kids order, and they get done eating, and these guys, they got up, and they went, and they talked with the people, and they got brooms and mops and rags, and they cleaned the place. It was pretty awesome, okay? And the people were, like, blown away, and so they represented the church, but most importantly, they represent Jesus. And so that's what we try to teach them. And the other rule was no pranks, okay? Because if you start a prank war, it's on. And I don't know, middle school boys, man, they're like suiting up like Rambo. All it takes is one prank, and it's on. And I like pranking people. I like scaring people, okay? I'm the guy that hides and waits for my friend to come around the corner. I'll hide for a long time, and hurting, just to wait on that one person. My wife hits. I don't know if any of you ladies punch, okay, but my wife straight up hits, and I'm okay with that because I like the pain. You know what I mean? It's worth it. And so you guys had We Are Called a couple of years ago at D Now. I've got some good stories of scaring them, and there's one in the band that hits. I'll let you know if you want to talk later. But anyway, so no pranks. And so I turned in my resignation to the church to step out and travel full-time and do full-time evangelism. And, I get to preach all over the place, but I also get to do some comedy at some places. And so stepping out to do that, I was taking these kids to camp for the last time. And when I got to camp, remember, no pranks, but I thought, I can prank them this year because it's my last trip with them. And the church can't fire me because I've already turned in my resignation, okay? So they're going to hold on to me, because they don't have anybody else. And so I started this thing where I started this rumor around the camp, around our group of kids that, remember, these are 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, and we were in Cabin 12 at a place called Camp Bethany. This was part of Camp Fuego, if you ever heard of that. And I started this thing like, man, I can't believe that right past Cabin 12, there's woods. Right through those woods, there's a place called Chimp Haven. And anybody ever heard of Chimp Haven? I've asked some of y'all this before, okay? So it's a real place. but I don't know where it's at, okay? But the kids don't know where it's at either, all right? And so, man, the whole week of camp, I'm telling them, I can't believe that just through the woods, man, right past the boys' cabin is Chimp Haven, and we're just setting this up over and over, and the kids would come to me, and they'd ask me questions like, Brandon, what's Chimp Haven? And they don't talk like that. I just think it's funny, you know? And they would ask me, and so I'd sit them down, and I'd tell them stories like this. Well, you know, Chimp Haven is a place where they bring chimps from all over the world. You know, they take care of them, chimps that have been neglected or that just need help, or that people have taken as pets and can't take care of them. And then I would throw in there that they've got one gorilla, okay? And the gorilla is mean. It's a male gorilla who's very aggressive. He's hurt some of the trainers, and he's in isolation right now. And the reason I'm setting it up like that is because we had a gorilla suit brought in to camp. And the kids don't know this yet, okay? But I don't know how we got this gorilla suit. All I know is that the Lord provided, because he knew what these kids had put me through over the years, and he knew that this was going to be okay, all right? And so we got a gorilla suit, and setting up the whole thing all throughout the week. We get to the final night of camp, and we just finished our worship service. And if you ever been a part of camp, my favorite part of camp is like the share time, where the church groups come together. You get together with your kids after the service, man, and they get to tell you what all God's doing in their life. And a lot of times we would have worship during those times. And so we're having share time, and share time is over. The girls go, they're leaving our room. We're all in my big, the big bunk room where all the guys are. We're all in there. We're done with share time. The girls get up and leave, and now it's just the boys, okay? And so I'm talking to them, and my buddy Ryan's in there. Ryan is someone that I went to school with since preschool, okay? Ryan works for Camp Fuego. He comes in, and he's got a radio on him, and Ryan's talking to us. Man, thank y'all for being here. Really appreciate y'all. Kids from First Baptist Halton, man, you guys are here every year. You know, he's talking. He's in on what's fixing to happen, okay? And he gets a call on his radio, and the guy who calls him on the radio is right outside the door, but the kids don't know this, okay? And he says something like this. He says, "Attention, camp staffers. There's been an outbreak at Chimp Haven, and we need you to lock down camp. Stuff has gone missing. The camp dog, we cannot find him. There's stuff that's being broken all over camp. We need you to lock down because the gorilla has gone missing from Chimp Haven." And guys, the kids start talking to each other, and I get a little angry with them. You know, it's all fake, but I'm like, look, y'all better be quiet. This is serious. And Ryan gets on the radio, and he says, "Look, this is Ryan. I'm in cabin 12 right through the woods from Chimp Haven. What do you want me to do?" And the guy who's right outside the door got on the radio and said, "Look, you better lock down that place, man. You better guard those kids with your life, because this is serious. This is life and death, you know." And so he now the kids are getting a little fear in their eyes, which is awesome. You know what I mean? You know, it's working. And so let me tell you what the room looks like. So right here is my bed. My bed's a single bed, and the door's right here because I'm guarding that door, right? You know, at nighttime. And I'm sleeping there, and then there's a light switch. So my bed, door, light switch. And then right over here, there's another door, and that door leads to the bathrooms. And right through those bathrooms, there's another bunkhouse. And so I took my chaperone, one of them, Big John. Big John's the warden at the prison. All right, if you're going to take middle schoolers anywhere, you take the warden from the prison with you. And so I put Big John over here in the doorway, and I said, "Look, don't let anybody out. Guard this door with your life." You know what I mean? So he's just standing there. You know why we called him Big John? Because he's big, and his name is Ralph. But anyway, he's in the doorway, and he's guarding that door, and nobody's going to get through Big John. Nobody's going to get through me over here. And the door, there's another door at the far end, and I had that wide open. And I had it wide open on purpose because that's where the woods are, where the Chimp Haven is. And that's where the gorilla is. He's right outside that door, and the kids don't know, all right? So I holler at my intern. I had a youth intern named Cade. I said, "Cade, I need you to go shut that door." And Cade is in on all this, all right? Cade walks over to the door, and he stops. He stands in the doorway. He turns around. He looks at the kids, and he's like, "Man, they're just messing with you guys. There's no gorilla, all right, over at Chimp Haven. There's no gorilla fixing to hurt anybody." And I promise, okay, at that moment, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, okay? A furry arm reached in, and it grabbed Cade, and it yanked him out of the door. And guys, I've seen a lot of movies. No movie could have done a better job at what just took place. It was real, you know what I mean? It yanked him out of the door. Now, kids started screaming their heads off, okay? Now, these are boys, and they are going psycho. They're going crazy, and they're running, and I'm watching all of it, all right? And I reach over, and I kill the lights. And before all of this happened, before the gorilla took Cade, I grabbed one boy, and I got him to come stand with me because the night before it thundered and lightened, and he was scared. And we called his parents, and his parents talked him through everything, and he was like, all right, I'm going to stay, you know. And I'm so sorry. I can picture it. Anyway, this kid, I thought, man, if the thunder and lightning scared him, the gorilla's going to kill him. You know what I mean? And so I don't need to be responsible for that. And so I'm not a horrible person, just not nice. And so I got him, and he's standing beside me now, and I whispered to him, I said, look, it's about to go down. But just laugh, okay? Because none of this is real. Just have fun. And so he's standing here. I kill the lights. I can hear kids running into bunk beds, okay? And I know they're not coming out my door. I'm guarding it. Big John's got this door. They're definitely not going out that door. That's where the gorilla lives, you know? And so I got to give the gorilla enough time to get into the center of the room and raise his arms. That's the plan. And so I turn the lights back on, and he's right there in the center of the room. The eyes are trying to adjust. All they can see is the mouth from the teeth from the mask. And now I thought they were screaming at first. Okay, now they're really going nuts. And I look over on my bed, the single bed, and there are 4 boys huddled together crying, okay? And they like straight up crying, hugging each other. And I let this go just for a few seconds, not very long, just pay back enough time, you know? And then I stop them, and I'm like, hey, guys, look. This is just a prank. We're just joking with you. And they kind of look around like they don't know if they need to fight somebody or what's happening. And then they start high-fiving each other because boys are made different, all right? They're like, oh, that's awesome. They're high-fiving. And then one of them looks at me. He says, hey, let's go get the girls. And I was like, hey, let's don't. You know what I mean? Because I like living. And so we didn't mess with the girls that night. And so teachers, you know if you go anywhere with kids, you better count them. And so I started counting those kids. And I was one short, and I didn't know where he was, all right? And we searched, and we finally found him. He had busted through Big John, and he was leaving camp. Like he didn't care about any of his friends or anything. He was gone. And so I looked at Big John. I'm like, man, you're the warden at the prison. You know, how many people have escaped over the years? We don't have any clue. There's no record now. I don't know. But man, we finally caught this kid. We brought him back. And I go to breakfast the next morning, and I'm sitting with all these, with the lady chaperones from the group. A lady named Misty is sitting right across from me. And we're talking back and forth, and I'm listening to her story. She said she didn't know about the gorilla. She said last night when they were done with share time, they went back to their room. She said some of the girls were like, man, we just want to keep talking. Can we get in the bed with each other and just share our feelings and just talk? And she was like, absolutely. She said, I looked over. Some of them were crying. They were sharing their feelings, and they fell asleep, you know. And I said, well, some of our boys crawled up in the bed with each other, you know. And it was pretty amazing. They were crying and sharing their feelings with each other. Just a little bit different, wasn't it? Man, guys, it was awesome being able to pay them back because of what they put me through some stuff. You know, there's not enough counseling for that, teachers, right? Here, after one trip, this is more information than you want. But after one trip, I remember coming back to the church. I had the boys on one bus, the girls on another bus, and we get back and we're cleaning the buses. And I was one of the drivers, so I don't have any clue what was happening behind me. And I noticed that the adults are picking up a lot of Ziploc bags off the boys' bus. And I'm like, hey, what's up with the Ziploc bags? They're like, you don't want to know. I'm like, no, tell me, what's going on? Because I'm thinking it's just Ziploc bags. And they're like, all right. Well, the boys, sorry about this, adults, but the boys were taking the Ziploc bags and holding them to their rear ends and passing gas into them and then zipping them up and passing them to their friends. Okay, and my first, this is true, okay? My first thought was, that's disgusting, all right? And my second thought was, does that work? You know, and I asked Jason. He said it does, which is, I don't even know why he knows that. But man, it was at that moment I realized maybe God's not calling me to work with middle schoolers. You know, maybe there's something else I need to do. So I stepped down from that. But man, I travel full time. I love it. I'm in new places every week, new locations. And last month we were in multiple different states, and man, love where God's putting us and what He's doing through, allowing us to be a part of. But I miss my family. I've got a wife, been married a little over 22 years. Got a son who's 19, a daughter who's 16, and another son who's 10. And man, I miss my family. And I know I might have said some of this morning, but whenever I'm gone like this trip, I left my house about 5 this morning, and I'll do this, then I'll drive back home tonight. And so on a quick trip like that, my family doesn't go with me because that's a lot of time on the road, you know, just real quick. But if I did like a revival here, they would be here with me, because we don't want to be gone from each other too long. But when I travel, I've got my phone and I turn on the maps. Anybody use your maps to get anywhere? Some of y'all like every day, right? Well, I know how to get here. Man, I've preached here a lot. You guys are friends. But when I pulled out of my driveway, I typed in Old Zion Hill into my maps, and I let it bring me here because it keeps track of my time and so forth. But I've got this lady on my maps. She'll come on and she'll tell me, in 120 miles, take exit 7, whatever, any of that stuff. And then when I mess up, she corrects me. Look, make a U-turn. You're going the wrong way. She tells me all that. So what I've learned over the years is when I start missing my family, like, a lot of times when I'm getting in the car at the house, I start missing my family. I don't know why. Have you ever met my family? I'm just kidding. That's a joke, okay? But no, I start missing my family, and I miss them, like, right away. And I've learned over the years when I start missing my wife, here's what I do, okay? I'm driving, and it hits hard, and so what I do is I just make a wrong turn. And when I make a wrong turn, that lady comes over my sound system, and she begins to correct me, and I forgot, what I'm talking about. I feel like I'm back home. I do, and I'll make a wrong turn, and she'll come on and be like, "What are you doing? You're going the wrong way. You're stopping for Chick-fil-A again? You've already gone to the bathroom 6 times. Why And I'm like, yes, dear. I feel like I'm with my wife. And so there's some little tricks I've learned along the way. I wish I could take my GPS, my maps, and I could use Mr. T on there. Y'all remember Mr. T, that dude, the A-Team, the Mohawk? I don't know if y'all have any clue who Mr. T is, but he's the bomb. All right, Mr. T, man. Mr. T always be like, well, you can picture his voice, but could you imagine him being on your maps when you make the wrong turn, like, turn around, fool? Y'all remember him, man? How about Mr. T as your anesthesiologist? The last voice you heard before you went under. You're going to make it, fool. He always said, fool. Don't go around saying that, all right? But, man, I love Mr. T. But I love my wife, man. Whenever I first met her, she was working at the zoo. And, well, first time I saw her, she was working at the zoo, and I made eye contact with her. I looked at her, and it was at that moment I realized that she was a keeper. And that's a zoo joke. Yeah. We ended up, it took a while, but we got married. Anyway, the other day, I'm so sorry for that. Can y'all edit that part out? But man, my wife was telling me something that I don't know what she was telling me. I wasn't listening too well, but she was mad at me, and because I wasn't listening. And she was getting on to me about something, and she was going over and over about something. And I finally looked at her because she was angry with me, and I looked at her and I said, I'm just gonna tell you what I said. All right, I said, look, you're lucky I'm not an alcoholic. And she's like, what are you talking about? All right, we don't drink. We don't have any alcohol in the house or anything. And she's like, what are you talking about? And then she laid into me some more. And I said, you're lucky I'm not an alcoholic, because if I was, I'd have to move out because I would get drunk on all your wine. And I don't know exactly what happened after that. But she said I'd blacked out. And I know that she tried to catch me because I had a handprint right here on the side of my face. I know she tried to catch me, but she's a sweet lady. But, man, we live in Halton, Louisiana. Grew up in Shreveport. Anybody here live in Shreveport? No? All right. Hey, all right, Brother David. All right, sweet. So I want to share with you real quick. This really isn't a joke. I just want to share with you one day in Shreveport, all right? Because this was my one day in Shreveport about 2 months ago. On Tuesdays, we're part of a homeschool group, all right? We take coffee and we serve at a church in Shreveport. We serve homeschool moms and coffee, and man, we set up multiple coffee pots, creamers, syrups, and all kinds of stuff, and just love on them. We get there real early in the morning. We do this until about 1:30, and so it's a lot of moms there, and we just, man, it's all free. We just do it as part of our ministry every Tuesday while they're having meetings. And so I left early one morning. Remember, this is in Shreveport, all right? So I left early one morning. I go to Brookshire's, a grocery store in Shreveport on Line Avenue, and I'm buying some water because Shreveport water tastes horrible, all right? And so I'm making the coffee with this bottled water, and I get to the checkout stand. It's 7-something in the morning, and the lady doesn't say hi to me. She's old enough to be my mom because she tells me she has a son who's 2 years older than me as we're talking. But she is talking. She doesn't say hi. She doesn't say anything like, man, how's your morning? She said this. Okay, this is where it gets weird. She said, oh, I wish I was a bug so I could crawl in your beard and take a nap. And I was like, huh, that's special. You know what I mean? And then she said it again. I wish I was a bug so I could crawl in your beard and take a nap. And she kept saying it, people, all right? And there are other employees that would walk by, and she stopped them. And then she changed it up a little bit. She said, oh, I told him I wish I was a white bug. And I'm thinking, what is there that much gray? What's going on? Why are you picking? And she just kept going on. I wish I was a white bug where I could crawl in your beard and take a nap. And what do you say to that? You know? Thanks. You know what I mean? I don't know. I've never had that, you know. And so I kind of nervously laughed and played it off. And then I get in the car and I drive 2 miles down the road to the church. And then 2 other miles on the other side of the church is McDonald's, all right? And so my daughter is with me. She's helping. She's watching little kids while the parents are teaching. And 10:30 hit. And my daughter's like, hey, I need some fries. And I was like, all right, I'll go buy you some fries. And she's like, I need some cookies also. And I'm like, all right, whatever. Okay, so you know how kids are. Man, they drive you nuts, people, right? You know? No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, I'm like, okay, well, I'll go get you some. And she's watching the kids. So I head up to McDonald's. Remember, 2 miles over here, the lady with the beard. Now I'm on the other side of the church, 2 miles, still Shreveport. And I'm ordering, and, of course, they got to cook the cookies, all right? And so she's like, hey, can you pull forward? I'm like, no problem. So I pull forward, my window's down, and now I'm in the wide open, and I see a lady. She's right over here. And I attract people. I don't know why. I attract people that ask me for money. Look at me. Do I look like I have money? You know what I mean? And this lady, she looked over at me, and she didn't say hi. She said, my next husband's going to have a beard like yours. And I'm like, roll up the window. You know what I mean? Like what? And that's how she started out. And then she got up and she walked over to me and sat on the curb right there by my window. And what she's smoking is not legal, all right, what she has. And she begins to talk to me. And I cannot share everything with you that she said, but a few of the, she went on. This happened for at least 6 minutes, okay, before I started recording. All right, and I cannot share the recording with you because it took an ugly turn. But I will tell you this. She said stuff like, I came from that planet. I came to Earth. She threw in some other words in there. She said, she talked about her husband, who is a robot, and how the government has taken him. And as she's talking, she says, that's dirt. I'm like, well, yes, it is. And she just keeps going. And, guys, it was like I could not have written a skit as good as what she was doing. It was beautiful. It really was. It was sad, but it was amazing. She just kept going, and she told me. She said, this is her word. She says, I'm the Alpha and Omega, and she said, Jesus, his words are in the book of blasphemies, and she just kept going. And I finally, the door opened. She said, what do you do for a living? And I was like, well, I travel and tell people about God. I travel and share. And she said, well, God bless you, which she really meant that she blesses me because she thinks she's God, you know, because she then went on again to say how she's the Alpha and Omega, and Jesus' words are in the book of blasphemies. And then I just said, hey, look, so I just want you to know, remember, she's sitting right here. And before this, she'd already told me about the price of crack is too much, but what she was smoking was okay. And she invited me to her house to bring as many friends as I have to come over and just hang out. So if y'all aren't doing anything Monday night. But anyway, so I told her, I said, hey, look, I love Jesus. And I've got this part. Oh, I'm not filming her, but I turned my phone on. It's in my lap, and it's picking up all of this. And I said, look, I love Jesus, and I travel, and I tell people about Jesus. And before I could even get those 2 sentences out, sadly, she started cussing me. She started saying things, and she got up, and she started walking away. And as she's walking away, saying things that no one should say, I said, look, Jesus loves you. I hope that you'll give your life to him, that you'll surrender to him. And I just kept talking to her, and she was just gone, all right? And so that's my second encounter, Shreveport, one day. My third encounter was when I went back to the church with the fries and the cookies. It wasn't worth it, by the way. But I went back, and there's a portalet in the parking lot because they're working on the roof of the church. And I park really close to it, and I look over, and there's a coffee cup from the gas station leaning up against the portalet. And right next to it, I'm like, oh, there's a pair of shoes. And then I notice it's a pair of ladies' slip-on shoes. And then there's a pair of pants. And then there's undergarments. And so there's a whole outfit like right here. And I'm looking at the portalet thinking, I'm a little scared. Well, I don't know what's happening in that portalet, so I don't touch it. Okay, I get out of there as fast as I can because I just met two crazy people. I don't need to meet a third who's not wearing anything. All right, and so I go inside the church, and then I did contact somebody. We made sure nobody was in there, hurt. But this is not jokes. I just want to share with you a day in Shreveport because Shreveport is a very special place. All right, so if you are planning on going, is this being recorded? You might not want to. I don't know. You might want to have somebody go with you. But speaking of that, does anybody in here? And this is not a joke. This is serious. Does anybody in here have an emotional support animal or a service animal? Anybody? Okay. Look, I think they're amazing. I really do. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I am not a pet person. We have 3 cats and 2 dogs at the house, and I don't know what else is living in my son's room. But we have animals because my kids like them. I'm not a pet person. But those service animals are extremely amazing, and they save lives. They help people, and it's pretty awesome. And since I'm not a pet person, I'm just going to be transparent with you. I have an emotional support beard. And I do. I take it everywhere I go. I do. And you're going to think this is weird, but I'm going to tell you about this, okay? People come up to me, and they pet it, all right? And it's already happened since I've been here tonight, all right? I won't tell you who it is, all right? I won't point him out to you. But people walk up to me, and, sir, do you want to? No, but they do. I was at YEC, Youth Evangelism conference or celebration, and 6,000 kids as we're leaving, and this was years ago, and I promise you, a hand reached over and touched my beard and then went back, and I looked, I didn't know who it was, because all these people are pressed up against you, but people are weird, okay? It's just like if you have a service animal, you need to ask before you come up and touch. You should ask before you come up and touch my beard, just like this young gentleman did. It was very nice and polite. But, it's weird. It's awkward. But I can tell you this. He brings me snacks. Yeah. Do you have any animals at home that bring you snacks? No, you probably don't. But he brings, look, let me see. See if I can find something. Raisin. Look at that. He brings me snacks, and which is pretty cool because last week he brought me grapes. So that's pretty neat. He brought me raisins today. But man, I can say this: after having a beard for so long, he's really grown on me, and I really have become attached to him, and I like him. It's gotten me through a lot, but that's so gross, wasn't it? Yeah, like they're really not stored in there. They're stored in my pocket, but they're pretty good on me to know. Which is gross, me pulling out my beard or that they're loose in my pocket. Probably both of them. But anybody eat healthy? I know y'all looking at me like you don't. So, but why? Okay, all right. Adults, or any of y'all trying to live longer and trying to eat healthy? Some of you maybe. I know Jason has. Where you at, Jason? Where's Jason? Oh, you're hiding back there. Okay, I'm gonna need you in just a minute. But as I'm getting older, man, I've noticed that there are some things I'm close to 50 now, and for some of you adults, you're like, well, that's not old. For some of you kids, you're like, oh my gosh, you're that old. You know what I mean? And as I get older, I've noticed that life doesn't work the way it used to. Well, you ever seen the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers? Remember those guys? Yeah, okay, so they would always morph into something, right? It's morphin' time, like pterodactyl, Red Ranger, whatever. Like, I feel like one of them. I feel like I'm morphing, like diabetes, you know what I mean? I don't know, high blood pressure, or my favorite, multiple trips to the bathroom at night, even though I went before I went to sleep. It's like, I don't even understand it, but the older I get, like I can hurt myself now while I sleep. And I don't understand that either. I can wake up knowing I didn't do anything. I didn't pull an engine out of a car, but it feels like I did when I wake up the next morning. Or how many of you adults? Now, this is serious. This is real, and you know it is. We have to be careful when we sneeze, okay? We have to make sure that we're in the right position, because if we sneeze wrong, our back is gone, all right? Some of y'all in this room have thrown your back out by sneezing, and you know you have, and your kids are like, what is wrong with you? They'll be there one day. And then I got this, I don't know if y'all can see this bald spot right there. It's really smooth. Did one of y'all, you touched did you feel that? you're weird too, man. What's the, no, you did ask. I really appreciate that. But I feel like I got, like, when you remember those magic 8 balls when you'd shake it, but I don't even know what this looks like. It just feels smooth like that. At some point my hair just quit. It's like it used to grow here, but now I don't know if it's detoured, and it's now coming out of my ears and my nose way faster than it did on my head. And I know that's disgusting, but let me just share some more information with you, okay? I'm thinking about just letting it go. I'm thinking about just giving up, just letting it go, and I'm going to harvest it, and I'm going to make Christmas sweaters for people, because I think I've seen there's a lot of older men that have a lot of hair that they can spare. It's growing, and we need to do something with it. We need to harvest that. I think we could really clothe people and help out. So if y'all want to get together a group, I'll be happy to donate and help out. But so the people I talked to a while ago, anybody trying to eat healthier, somebody tell me some things that you're doing. What are some things that you can encourage other people in this room to eat healthier or to be a part of? Anything at all? Anybody want to answer that? Did you say that? Who said that? Did you say move out? Bluebell, okay. I was like, I thought you, okay, never mind. All right, well, you're speaking from experience here, okay? Yeah, Bluebell's getting expensive. Man, what's the deal with that, I'm going in debt because I got a problem, with Bluebell. But, some people really are trying. I take health, you're looking at me like you don't take health seriously. But no, I do. I'm on 2 diets right now, because I don't get enough to eat on one, and so I eat on the second one, and it really helps me out a lot. No, I'm kidding. It's not a diet. It's a life. What is it? Lifestyle. No, it's lifetime sentence is what it is. Y'all thought we were gonna say lifestyle change. It's not. Man, it seems like it just. Man, some diets are good. Some diets seem like that they just take everything that's happy about life away from you. But over the years of traveling full time, man, I eat a lot. You guys have already fed me Mexican food today, and it was amazing. All right, when I go home, I'm gonna stop somewhere that's not good for me and get more food. All right, because I gotta stay awake on the road. You gotta eat. But we don't charge when we go places. We don't ask for money. So we've looked at over the years, we've looked at opening up our own businesses. And adults, I thought about opening up a judo studio. Because look at me, it makes sense, right? I look like I could be a judo fighter or something. I know that. I've worked out once, and I've seen it on TV. So I was going to open up a judo studio in downtown Minden, not far from us, and I was just going to call it Judo Who Hit You, because I thought that'd be funny. And I approached somebody, I approached some people about it, and they shot me down. And I thought, that's funny. Why not open? They're judging me. They're looking at me like, whatever, And so then I thought, well, what about a food truck that just serves cereal? I mean, that'd be fun, right? Everybody likes cereal. Yeah, you can do that. You can start it here, franchise fee. So then I thought about a catering business, and I thought, what if I open up catering shops all across Louisiana, or catering places all across Louisiana, all across Texas, and I started looking into some places, traveling. I traveled through different towns. Did y'all know there's a town called Forney in Texas? Y'all ever been through? Some of y'all, you've been through there. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And my mind works different than, I guess, normal people. I don't know. But I was driving through there, and I thought, this is really going to mess up my catering business, because I can't open. This is one of those things where my wife is jumping in my head saying, be quiet. I don't know if you guys ever have that. But I feel like I shouldn't open a catering business in Forney. Because how would you look that up? Would that be a Forney caterer? I don't know, but the Bible talks against that, so we probably shouldn't have a catering business. I don't know, but what about I don't know. Do any of you have any business ideas that you want to share? I'm taking notes. I'm being honest. All right, I could use some help and some money, but if you have anything you want to talk to me about, just let me know. But man, traveling all over the place, I get to be in different locations. I get to hear people sing. I get to hear people worship. This morning, that's the first time I've heard this group sing. Normally, it's Miss Bug. I get to hear you sing, and man, you ever heard people sing the wrong lyrics to songs? So I was at this youth event one time, and this girl next to me, her hands were up, man, she was getting into it. You know that song, I Could Sing of Your Love Forever? You know that one? Over the mountains and the seas, your river runs with love for me. She was singing. Y'all don't know that. We're old, okay? We're a little bit older, but I could sing of your love forever. Well, she was singing, and I was listening to her, and she was singing Over the Mountains of Tennessee. And I'm like, that's not the lyrics to that song. But if you can worship, that's fine. They must have been the Smoky Mountains. I don't know. But then I was at a college event over at Louisiana Tech. I was speaking to the BCM, and they were singing that song Glorious Day, where it says, I came out of that grave. And one kid, all right, just one, he was singing, and he was loud. All right, you know the loud one. He was singing, I ran out of that. Listen to me, okay? He said, I ran out of that rave. And I'm like, that's not what he's talking about, you know? And I'm thinking maybe that's the remix or the techno version. I don't know. I'm not really hip anymore. I'm getting old. But man, I love music. I love old hymns. I love new songs. And I love old songs. I like them a lot. But there are some songs that are a little weird. And I've got Cody. Cody, can you come help me real quick? Jason, can you come help me too? Man, Jason, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm second guessing this. But, all right, so Cody, I asked him if he would play a song. There's an old hymn that, it's a great song. But if you, well, let's act like this. Okay, Jason, let's act like you're inviting me to church for the first time. Okay, I'm the guy next door that you don't want to talk to. Okay, I've never been to church. I've never sung hymns. I've never opened a hymn book. I don't have any clue what happens in this place. All right, and you just invited me. Come closer, brother. You know, all right. Is that how you dress for church? You need some pants like this, buddy. All right, Amazon. All right. So Jason invites me to church, and the worship leader gets up, and he starts singing. So give us a little bit of this hymn. You guys know it.
There is a fountain filled with blood.
Okay, hold on just a second. All right. There is a fount. Y'all know this song? There is a fount filled with blood. All right, so now, Jason, you just brought me to this place. And I've never been here before, and the worship leader just stood up, and the first thing I hear is there's a fountain filled with blood. All right, yeah, so, I mean, can you explain that before he goes any further? Where's this fountain? I mean, where did y'all get this blood from? And where's this fountain located? Is it like, is it in the baptistry? Where is the baptistry? And so now I'm getting a little freaked out, all right? And so will you give us the next line? Okay. Did you say drawn from Emmanuel's veins?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Who's he?
It's the blood.
where's Emmanuel? That's that dude that works at Chick-fil-A. I know him. No. Is he hurt? Where is he? Come on, man. Seriously, you guys. Okay.
Not anymore, brother.
Not anymore. He's not feeling anything. Y'all drained him. So there is a fount filled with blood drawn from Emmanuel's veins. What do we do with this blood?
Sorry. It sinners plunge beneath that flood.
Okay, wait, hold on. All right. Sinners plunge beneath that flood. So if this isn't bad enough, there's a fountain somewhere in this church that's full of blood from Emmanuel, and we got to go bathe in it, is what you're saying. What happens if we do that? Which is disturbing. But what happens if we do that, Cody?
Lose all their guilty stains.
All right. What about Tide? You know, what about just washing your clothes? You know, and so look, here's the deal. I believe with all of my heart that the blood of Christ is the only thing that can cleanse our sins. There are some weird songs out there, though, okay? And as someone who, if they're not a Christian and they come in, you just might want to explain what that means to them, okay? Because that sounds like a cult. You know what I mean? That sounds a little. I'm just being honest with you. All right, you don't have to stay up here anymore. Thank you, brother. You want to? Grab that mic. No, thank you, Cody. All right. So, but, you know, I think no matter any kind of music you listen to, there's some weird stuff. You know, there's a country song. Well, there's a lot of weird country songs. But Joe Diffie, I don't know if y'all remember him. Joe Diffie had a song called Pickup Man. And one of the lyrics is probably the most insightful lyric ever written. He said, if it weren't for trucks, we wouldn't have tailgates. That's pretty deep, you know. Like, man, I'm glad he reached really far for that. And then he goes on to say, I met all my wives in traffic jams. And I'm like, you might want to start walking. You know what I mean? Like, you might want to give up driving. I don't understand. Carly Rae has that song that you know, Call Me Maybe. Hey, I just met you. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, y'all. And you know what she says? Let me find it. She says something, before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. I missed you so bad. I don't even know what that means. Before you came into my life, how you miss someone before you know them? There's another song, guy by the name, okay, there it is. Razorlight. I don't even know who Razorlight is, but there's a song. I previewed this song to make sure there wasn't any cussing in it, all right? Because I don't know these people. But it's called Somewhere Else. And here's some lyrics I heard. It says, and I met a girl. She asked me my name. I told her what it was. You know, that's pretty deep. You know, I'm like, all the stuff you could write. And then, y'all remember Hanson? Remember Bop? Can you imagine being at that writing, circle? Like, oh, what are we going to write? How about this? Bop. Okay, how do you spell that? And then write dooba-doo-bop, bop-doo-bop. Okay, like, it makes no sense whatsoever. But it's a great song. I will listen to it on the way home probably. I got to wait until I'm falling asleep and I need something to keep me going. But back in the early 90s maybe, I remember a song came out, and don't go listen to this song. I just want to tell you some of the lyrics real quick. Jason, I know this one. It's Regulators by Warren G. All right, listen to some of the words of this song. All right, this is, don't judge me, people. But it says, 16 in the clip and 1 in the hole. Nate Dogg is about to make some bodies turn cold. Now they're dropping and they're rolling. It's a tad bit late. Nate Dogg and Warren G had to regulate. All right, and as a kid listening, or a teenager listening to that, I'm thinking, all right, but as an adult, I'm like, that's not a song, that's a confession. You know what I mean? Like, somebody might need to call the FBI on these people. And look, be careful, because they got 16 in the clip and 1 in the hole. But there's also another song that I really like. I need some ladies to help me with this song. Anybody got any fake? Look, this is not to crack on anybody. This is a good thing. Anybody got any fake nails on? Okay, can you come up here? You're perfect for this. All right. I might shouldn't do this with you. All right. Gosh, do you have any friends out here that have fake nails?
Anybody else got fake nails on?
Just the girls.
Okay.
All right. All right. Put your hand down, Brother Gary. No, okay. All right, so tell you what, let's get you a mic. Can I bring this mic down? Is that okay? All right, so I want you to use your nails, and I want you to play an instrument here. Okay, so there's another song that I like by Dolly Parton. All right, 9 to 5. All right. I thought you had nails. I didn't know what you were doing. So did y'all know that in 9 to 5, she's playing her nails? That's okay, do that to the mic. Okay, so you're going to hear that. We're fixing to play the song, people, okay? Yeah, you ready for this?
No.
Do you want to come up here?
Press
No, okay. All right, so I want y'all to listen.
Are you going to give me a cue?
Yes, I'll tell you when to start, and I want you to play it. Play it like this is your moment to shine. Yes, and play it with her, because she's playing this, and you're playing with her right now.
Yep.
Wouldn't it be awesome if she walked through those doors?
Yep.
She's not. But, okay, so let's do this. Will you turn on, and y'all better get ready, because I'm going to ask y'all to sing in a second. All right, will you turn on 9 to 5, please? All right, listen to this.
What about this?
Right here, listen. Right there. That's her fingernails. Isn't that crazy?
That's her fingernails?
That's her fingernails. Y'all know this song?
I'm not doing a good job.
Y'all ready to sing? We're about to sing. We're about to get loud. All right, come on. You gotta get into it.
This is not working.
You got to. You got to try. All right, I need y'all to sing this chorus with me, because you know it, and I need you to get loud. Y'all ready? Come on, let me hear you.
Oh, she stopped. She stopped. She took a break.
It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. All right, let's kill it. Dude, you will go to no other church ever and do that, all right? All right. So, look, did you know that she uses her fingernails to do that? Go home and practice that.
Okay.
And then
Sunday morning, Miss Bug, I got you.
That's awkward and weird all at the same time. But
Imagine if I stood on stage.
yeah, all right, we're done. All right, let's just, sometimes you got to kill it where it's at. But thank you for doing that. All right, look, I think that's pretty cool. I heard Dolly talk about that. And so, look, we're getting ready to close. And I saw something pop up. I got a little bit more to talk to you about. I saw a little thing pop up that said laugh. I really appreciate that. So thank y'all. Thank you so much. But who are some of your favorite all-time artists that you... I'm not talking about people that you're listening to right now. This doesn't have to be this is not confession time. Don't feel bad, okay? This could be someone that you listened to 20 years ago or 10 years ago, or maybe you do listen to them now, but who is some of your favorite artists of all time? Anybody? Wait, say it again. Oh, okay, Hank Williams. I didn't know what you said. Okay, Hank Williams Sr., the Eagles? Skinner, I don't know where that came from. The heavens. Okay, no, okay, I heard Skinner. All right. What else? Anything else? Brandon Lake. Who said that? Right here? All right, Brandon Lake. Queen, Forrest Frank. Yeah. All right, cool. All right. I don't want to stop anybody. Anybody else got anything? Josiah Queen. My son loves Josiah Queen. He's pretty cool. Like the lyrics are pretty amazing. All right. We'll leave y'all alone. All right. So y'all remember this dude? You remember Meatloaf? Remember that guy? All right. All the names. No, okay. If you don't know Meatloaf, he was a singer. That was his name. Yeah, Meatloaf. Yeah. All right. So all the names in the English language, even other languages, and you're sticking with Meatloaf. I don't understand that. But Meatloaf had a song, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that. You know, guys, I got to tell you, that song came out in 1993, and I was upset with Meatloaf, okay, which sounds like something that you would never say out loud. But I was upset with him. I didn't understand this song, and I didn't understand why he would sing those lyrics and then leave me hanging for 30 years and then pass away. You know, he never sat down with me and talked with me about these lyrics. I got to tell you, I had beef with him. I did. I had beef with him. That's a joke. That's a joke. Meatloaf beef. Yeah, I was hoping one day we could catch up. That's another joke. That's another one. But guys, I don't know what to do with this. I don't know if I will ever. Yeah, is Meatloaf in heaven? Don't know. Okay, if he is, do you think the Lord will let us talk about this? I don't know. Okay, I probably could care less when I get to heaven, right? I'm just talking. But here's the deal. What if Meatloaf, when he was still alive, what if Meatloaf... That is that guy. All right. That's weird. All right. His name is Meatloaf. Why? It makes no sense. But what if Meatloaf would have toured with some of the other people that have crazy names like him? What if Meatloaf would have toured with the Black Eyed Peas? You know, you think about this. All right. I do know Jelly Roll, and we're getting there. So don't go too far ahead. All right. So what if Meatloaf, the Black Eyed Peas, and Korn would have toured together? And for some of y'all who are like, what's he talking about? These are real people's names, all right? So what if Meatloaf, the Black Eyed Peas, Korn, and the Cranberries? Wait, who'd you say? Bread? That's awesome. Oh, man, look, it sounds like Thanksgiving, doesn't it? They need to do a fall tour. So what if Meatloaf, Black Eyed Peas, Korn, the Cranberries, Bread? I mean, what if they would have all toured, and then you got to season it up a little bit. You can invite the Spice Girls, maybe some Flavor Flav. I don't know, sprinkle some salt and pepper on there. You could chop up some Red Hot Chili Peppers, sprinkle those on top. What would you do for dessert? You could have some vanilla ice with your peaches and herb, some jelly roll with some Sugar Ray sprinkled on top. You know, you got to wash it down. You could wash it down with some Ice Cube and your 5-finger death punch. You know what I mean? I don't know. You could. What if you don't like meatloaf? Well, you could have some peanut butter and Pearl Jam. That'd be totally up to you. You know, I would go on this tour. I would call it the Casserole Tour. I really would. You know, it'd be run by Baptist people because you wouldn't even have to buy a ticket. You just bring a covered dish to get in. No mosh pit. You just have a buffet set up and all fun and games until the Smashing Pumpkins showed up. You know, you got people doing the watermelon crawl to get out of there. Yeah, it's horrible, right? You know, But man, guys, I love music. Music does something to you. I want to challenge you. If you don't do this already, man, listen to some godly music that brings glory to Jesus, because it will totally transform your life. You will find yourself worshiping and singing about your Lord, and it changes things. And I don't know all of you. I know some of you. Honestly, I don't know what any of you are dealing with or struggling with. You don't know what I'm dealing with or struggling with. For the last hour, I've been struggling trying to not look too bad. I don't know what anybody's going through, but I can tell you this, man, laughter's good. We all need to laugh. But what's more important than that is we all need to know that there's a God in heaven that loves us more than anything. And I got to share with some people last month. I was in Tampa, Florida, and then somewhere near Phoenix, Arizona. I don't remember the town, but I was opening up for a buddy of mine who travels full time and does comedy. And we wasn't in churches. We were at a comedy theater, and then we were at a comedy. I don't know what it's called. It was like an eating place where it has a stage in there. People come in and order food, and then they watch comedy. And so for that one was in Arizona. I got to open. And then I got to introduce my buddy, and I got to close. And so when I got up there to close, by the way, everything is clean, and these people know they're coming to clean comedy, but they don't know how much it's going to represent Jesus. All right, we're not preaching while we're doing this, but we are representing Christ, and we're sharing Him. And so when I got back up there, I told them the same thing I just told you, except for I changed it up a little bit. I said, look, I don't know what you guys are going through, but man, I'm glad that you guys came, that we were able to laugh together. And I said, I want you to know that each one of you in this room, man, your life matters, and that you're loved by the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. And I heard a guy over here kind of like, whatever, he was blowing me off, and he wanted everybody to know it. And then everybody else was zoned in, man. They were listening. They didn't come for Jesus, but they're hearing about Jesus. And right outside the door, my buddy, the people don't know me. He's got 6 million followers on TikTok, and people recognize him in public. And so I said, look, my buddy Christian is right outside the door. He's going to be, taking pictures. Go see him. But if any of you need prayer, please talk to us. And I saw Christian praying with multiple people after the show, people who didn't come for that. But guys, here's the deal. Wherever you are, you represent Jesus. You represent Christ. And so afterwards, man, just talking to people, hey, do you have a relationship with Jesus? Do you have any questions about that? If they tell you no, hey, they tell you no. If they tell you yes, then guess what? You get to keep on telling them. You get to keep on representing. But if they tell you no, what do you do then? Man, you pray for them. You continue to pray for them. You don't turn your back on them. You continue to love them. The Tampa show, I had a lady come up to me afterwards, and she pointed out the guy that she was with. This lady was probably about 70, and she pointed out the guy who was walking away. She said, hey, his name is Ben, and I can't remember names for nothing, but I remember Ben. She said, I need you to pray for Ben because he doesn't know Jesus. So pray for his salvation. And I'm thinking, that's pretty cool. We're at a comedy theater, and you're coming up to me asking me to pray for this guy for salvation. And then the other people I was able to talk to, I talked to a guy named Marty and praying for. He said, look, I need you to pray for my mom. Her name is Barbara. She's struggling with dementia. And guys, like I said, I don't remember names, but I remember these people. And God, man, through comedy, He's opening doors for us to share with people and to represent Him. He does that through everything that you do. And so whatever it is that you're doing in life, whatever job you have, or if you're retired or if you're not, whatever you do, you represent Jesus in everything that you do. John 10:10, let me close with this. I've preached on this. It says, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but Jesus says that He's come to give life and life to the fullest. And guys, Satan is really good at his job. He's pretty excellent at what he does. He's good at stealing and killing and destroying everything that God has for you. But he can't have you. If you surrender your life to Jesus, Satan can't have you. So he will do everything he can to trip you up and make you miserable. But you have to understand there's a God in heaven that loves you, and He has come to give you life, and not just any life, but life to the fullest. It's not like those info commercials that you see where they offer, 3 easy payments of $19.95. You too can whatever. Yeah, that's not what it is. He offers you life because He knows if you will receive it, man, He knows it's real. He has it for you. All you have to do is be willing to cry out. Look, I'm a sinner who's been saved by Jesus. Every one of us in this room are sinners. Have you come to that point to where you realize that, and you realize that you need someone bigger than you. You need the only one who can save you, which is Jesus Christ. If you have any questions about any of that, please come talk to one of us, Brother Gary, Brother David, even Jason. All right, but if sorry, Jason, but if you want to talk to any of us, we would love to talk to you. And I thank y'all for letting me hang out with you a little bit. But I want to pray with you, and then Brother David, not Brother David, Brother Gary, are you coming back up? Okay. All right. Let me pray with you, Father. God, we love you. God, I'm thankful that we can come into a place and laugh, and I'm thankful for people that laugh even when things are not funny. Lord, I'm thankful for people who love you. And God, an hour has flown by. I hope that we will, as we leave here, that we will understand how much you care for us and how much you love us. And God, that Satan is real, but so are you. And you are the God of everything. And I pray that we will trust you, that we will follow you, and Lord, that we will live life to the fullest through you. If anyone in this room doesn't know you, please help them to cry out to you. And God, anyone who's struggling, who just needs prayer, I pray that they'll grab somebody in this room tonight and say, look, I need you to pray for me. God, thank you for church family. We love you. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Did you enjoy tonight? Thank you. Jason didn't ask for anything. I mean, we're compensating him for coming and taking care of his travel and so forth. But if you enjoyed it and would like to be part of giving him a love offer, we got a couple of guys. I'm just going to ask them to stand over here somewhere. And if you would like to contribute to his ministry, to his family, and tell him thank you in this way, just walk up and give a gift, put it in the plate. Is that good? And thank you again. Jason, I got some stories you need to learn. I have to confess, I touched the beard. I'm like, is that real? I used to have a woolly beard and shaved it all off. Debbie won't let me grow it again. We're grateful you came. Have a great time. If you want to talk to somebody about Jesus, there are people available, okay? God bless. You're dismissed.